Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Champions League. We are back with our favorite competition and of course with Dani Fisichella and with Alvaro to analyze the 4 games we have this week. So also comment with us the Champions League and don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. Champions League is back finally, and of course we have Alvaro, Romeo and Dani Fisichella with us. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you, Edu.
Ciao,
Hello.
Alvaro. Long time not seeing you. Very well.
Yeah, you still look good, Dani.
Thank you very much. You look just fine.
We are
I take it.
To enjoy this Champions League back, and we have 4 games, and we have especially 2 very interesting ties, in my opinion, in this week. Starting with the first game, we are going to analyze in the Parc des Princes, PSG, Real Madrid. There is a lot in stake here, I guess. Kylian Mbappé is going to be in the spotlight during the whole tie, also in this first game. The first thing we have to do, Alvaro, if we want to bet on this game, of course, is checking the outright market, always very interesting. And we have PSG favorites for this game, 2.10, Real Madrid 3.8. If we see to qualify, also PSG are favorites. Overall, do you consider Jet favorites, the French team?
No, not at all. I think Real Madrid is the favorite for this tire. I don't know about this game, but definitely for this tire. I think that we have spoken in the past about the problems of PSG. I add a few after watching their games lately. By the way, on Friday they beat Rennes, and it was good for them. Mbappé scored just in the last minutes of the game. But yeah, I think that apart from the defensive issues, apart from the fact that 2 players now, because Neymar is not going to be ready for the game, or at least to start, 2 players are basically not defending. I think that PSG has a problem because there is no an eagerness to improve in there. There is not an eagerness to profit every minute of the game. They let the time go, maybe because in the league they have a really good advantage already, but this is not a good training ahead of the Champions League. They don't try to get the better of every minute of the game. And I think Real Madrid, for all their faults, because right now they've got a few, they are having tougher challenges domestically right now. I think that the Benzema absentee, if he happens not to play, is going to be very important for Real Madrid because he's by far the guy who is doing not only the goals, making the goal, playing, scoring the goals, but also like helping a lot in the build-up up front. And without Benzema, Real Madrid is a lesser team. Probably he is the most important player of the team, altogether with Vinicius, Militao, and maybe Thibaut Courtois, I'm saying, plus Casemiro. But Benzema is so important in that team. Anyway, all that said, and hoping that Ferland Mendy is back, because with Mendy, Real Madrid has astonishing numbers. Without Mendy, they are not so good. If Mendy is back, I think Real Madrid is going to control the ball. This is the way I see the game. They're going to control it a lot because PSG doesn't press a lot. And Real Madrid has the players with the know-how to control the football games. I'm talking about Kroos, Casemiro, Modric. Then at the back, Alaba and Militao, they offer good solutions with the ball as well. So I'm pretty sure that Real Madrid is going to have the control of the game. But they will have to avoid losing the ball up front, so counter-attacks don't happen. Because if counter-attacks happen, then the most dangerous player in the world right now, Kylian Mbappé, will have a chance. And a chance of Mbappé up front is a synonym of a goal. Even though Real Madrid has Eder Militao as a defender, and I think that Eder Militao has proven against very fast strikers in La Liga this season that he is probably the best stopper for this kind of profile of a striker. He did it with Iñaki Williams. Obviously, Iñaki Williams is a downgrade over Kylian Mbappé, but Iñaki Williams versus Militao, they have played this season a little bit, and it was a good stepping stone for Militao ahead of Kylian Mbappé. So I think that Real Madrid will control the ball, yes, and when it comes to PSG, they are slow recovering the ball, they got problems in the build-up, they got players with obvious deficiencies with the ball in their feet. in central areas. I'm talking about Danilo, I'm talking about Gay, I'm talking about Kimpembe. So I think that the possession is going to be Real Madrid's, but in the counter-attacks with Mbappe and Messi, PSG will have a lot of dangerosity. So for this game, I could go for something like this, and now I'll leave Dani. The Asian handicap 0 for Real Madrid in the first half. That pays 248. I love that one. Or the Asian handicap plus 0.25 in the first half for Real Madrid. That pays 178, meaning that the second one, plus 0.25. If they win the first half, you win. And if they draw in the first half, you get half a win. What I call the decaf double chance.
It's a very good definition. I think I agree with you that Real Madrid should be the favorite. Obviously, if you look at the numbers of PSG recently, they tell you a story. They tell you that they are unbeaten since that defeat in November against Man City, 14 games, 9 wins, 8 clean sheets, but you have to put a lot of caveat. Some of those clean sheets were in the French Cup against lower division teams. At the weekend against Rennes, very organized, went to the Parc des Princes, did the job, had some chances, and they were only caught on the break in the very last minute of the game. Paris Saint-Germain were underwhelming. Yes, of course, they're always going to score, always going to have some threat up front. They demolished Lille the week before, 5-1. Obviously, they got a very healthy lead in League One. The absence of Neymar, I think, is really important for PSG. It's a little bit of a curse. When they get to the Champions League knockout stage, they always have absentees. They had them year in and year out. They will be without Ramos, they will be without Herrera. Yes, I do agree with Alvaro. Their midfield is strong, is physical. I don't think they can control the ball. Danilo had good games recently, but I don't think he's nowhere near the technical ability of Luka Modric or Toni Kroos. Look, if you look though at the numbers of this Champions League a little bit more in depth for PSG, you will find that they've been really disappointing. First of all, only 1 clean sheet in the group stage. Then if you look at the number of saves that the keepers made, PSG is 4th for saves. So they've been very defensive team, 5th from bottom in terms of attacks during the group stage. So not a very attacking, not what you would expect with PSG. And I think another one that simply explains how PSG haven't got a very clear pattern of playing. They were first for dribbles in the group stages of the Champions League. Often the individual solution, often trying to get past the man without perhaps having a teammates next to them. They haven't got a great record either in the Champions League knockout in the last 3 years. They won 6, lost 7 on knockout games, including when the Champions League was only played 1 leg only. For this reason, I can see Real Madrid more experienced, better put on the pitch. Double chance. I would go for double chance. X2 pays very well, 1.91 for Real Madrid, obviously best odds updated every minute on Oddspedia. Or you could go, because there is this tendency for PSG to score late, to leave it late. They score a lot of late goals, over 1.5 goals in the second half, 187, a little bit less than the X2. You know, over 2 goals, you win the stake.
I have to say that Alain Balnegri, our French expert, is also very disappointed by the way PSG are playing with Pochettino. They don't control the games. They are weak in the midfield. That's how Real Madrid can harm them. Both of you give the edge to Real Madrid. Of course, the odds are better if you support Los Blancos. Talking about goals, Dani, in this game, the bookies expect many goals. Of course, having in the pitch that quality is something we should expect or not, because over 2.5 goals is 1.69. We all expect goals, but perhaps since this is the first leg, we see a cagey one, both trying to defend and counter-attack.
I think too many goals might not be on the card this one. Let's not forget, by the way, away goals don't count anymore from this in the Champions League. So that could unleash a little bit more of attacking from both sides. You know, PSG might not be too concerned of conceding a couple if they can score 1 more. I can't see Real Madrid going too gung-ho. Just one stat before Alvaro, I'm sure he will add something on that. Only 33% of home games of PSG have been clean sheets at home this season. So only 1 in 3, obviously great stats you can find on Oddspedia. betting stats. So rather than a lot of goals, I would rather go for both to score.
The thing is that
PSG won all the 3 games, by the way, Alvaro, in the group stages when they played in the Parc des Princes, including Man City.
it would be fair to say that PSG had one of the tough groups. So, we cannot overpraise, for example, some clubs that went through as first and underpraise PSG coming out of second, because, for example, they beat Manchester City at Parc des Princes, and RB Leipzig is not an easy team, to the point that Manchester City, I think they haven't conceded this season more goals to any club than to RB Leipzig. So let's put everything in the right context. But I think that one of the main issues with PSG is that again, there is not an eagerness to improve. There is not an eagerness to get any better with Pochettino, and I can see that in their games. I mean, this is not a team that is trying new things constantly. This is not a team that has many players showing, a core of players showing a lot of commitment day in, day out. And this is very dangerous because normally the narrative will tell you that PSG will switch on for the Champions League, but that doesn't work like this. You need to work every weekend to be able to switch on in the Champions League. Winning is a habit, doing the things well is a habit as well. And they are so needed, PSG, of quality players with the ball on their feet, that Verratti probably is the most important player of this team. And I'm not kidding with this. The other day I saw, for example, Jorginho Wijnaldum playing against Rennes, and he was a shadow of himself, which makes me think that Jurgen Klopp is the best thing that has happened to his career. And you play with Pochettino in PSG, and suddenly you lower your level so badly. It doesn't make any sense what happened to Jorginho Wijnaldum, a player who was coveted by Barcelona as well. So good players with control of the ball in PSG, they are shining and they are making a difference. And in this team, the likes of Verratti or the likes of Messi, someone that you can pass the ball to and they can give it back to you, they shine even more than in some other squads. So this is PSG right now, and this is not acceptable in a team that is considered, and it is one of the most rich in the world. The fact that you've got only 2 or 3 players actually who can have a good control of the ball, and this is very important for me. So I think that the control of the game is going to be at Real Madrid's side, and Real Madrid, Daniele broke down very good stats about PSG, and they conceded so many shots and all that. But Real Madrid, however, in the Champions League, and I know that their group was slightly easier than PSG because they played against Sheriff, but Real Madrid produced a lot of shots in the Champions League as well. And even when they lost against Sheriff, they produced like 20 shots easily. Yeah. So Real Madrid is attacking quite a lot in the Champions League as well. So if Benzema is there, which I doubt, Real Madrid is, for me, the big favorite for this game. I'm not saying Real Madrid to win, because I don't know if Benzema is going to feature. That's why I'm going to the Asian Handicap 0 in the first half and blah, blah, blah. But, there is no reason for me to trust PSG, apart from a big night from Mbappe, which happens every now and then, of course, but normally teams prevail over individualities.
And let's not forget quickly, we talk about the problem at the back for PSG. Their best left back, who's Bernat, has been left out of the Champions League list because of the multiple injuries. Mm-hmm. So they're going to play really this key game with the second choice left back, which is Nuno Mendes, which has been getting better. But I don't think the defense of PSG is nowhere near as good, the defense of many other teams.
If Benzema is not featuring, Gareth Bale is gonna be in the pitch. He played
twice against Villarreal, Edu.
He played well. He has the quality. Of course, he has the danger that other players don't have. For instance, Jovic or, of course, Isco when he's playing at front. But, of course, Benzema is going to try to play this massive game in the Parc des Princes. You have now the info and the tips from Alvaro and Dani to bet on this game. Also on Tuesday, we have a Sporting Man City. If we check the outright odds for the Champions League, we see that Man City are the big favorites to win the tournament. Odds are around 3.8. And therefore, also to win this game, I think no one can think about a surprise here. Man City, they are dominating, of course, the Premier League, winning and keeping clean sheets. Dani, they are very strong also in the defensive part. Sporting, we were surprised by them knocking out, remember, Borussia Dortmund. But do you think Man City can have any trouble traveling to Lisbon, or no way? This is a one-way leg.
Look, in the Champions League, we said when we talked about the group stages, there are very few teams that cannot score you a goal against, and we know which one they are. Sporting Lisbon is definitely a team that can hurt you, can score goals. They have proven that. They need to do it against a very good defense. The number says that in the last 12 games, 7 clean sheets for Man City, who cruised through the very busy December fixtures and January fixtures with the cups and everything. They are unbeaten since that game in December against Leipzig, who didn't count anything with that. For a team to have the best Premier League defense with 14 conceded, that says a lot. It is obviously a different level. They've been relentless as well. Man City winning week in and week out. They also know how to win easy, which I mean they know how to get the job done without playing fantastic football like they did against Brentford or even against Norwich, but they know when they turn the switch on and win. Now, this is a different challenge for them because I think Sporting possesses better technical abilities than some of the teams that they played in the Champions League. In the Premier League, what Sporting doesn't have is the experience. But for Manchester City, approaching this game with a good lead in the Premier League, having rotated so many players, Guardiola's done a fantastic job. I think this is what he's really, really good at. When it comes October, November, he starts rotating the players, making 4 or 5 changes every week. You don't know who's going to play, and you don't know who's going to play where. You know if Grealish is going to be on the left, if he's going to be through the middle, if Cancelo can play everywhere, pretty much. Against Brentford, Guardiola played with no recognized left back and put Laporte there. So there is the variation that really keeps the other manager thinking as well. They got 16 different scorers so far in the season. Only one, curiously, is in double figure. Only Mahrez is in double figure. Then Sterling had a couple of the weekend, so it should be close to that figure as well. We got three. That's true. Against Norwich, I lost the last one. So, Manchester City, scoring goals, yes, it is on the cards. They also have a very good record in knockout stages in the last 3 years. Won 11, lost 3 knockout stages in the Champions League, including last year final. So to see Manchester City scoring is probably what you have to go for. Scoring in both halves, so first and second half, that's a good stake, 195.
And we saw Alvaro in this Champions League in the group stages, in most of the games of Sporting, a lot of goals. Even I remember against Borussia Dortmund, of course, but even against Ajax, and conceding 5 is a team that attack, but also they leak a lot in the back.
Yes, they do. I mean, in the Champions League, they scored 4 against Besiktas at home and away. They scored 3 against Dortmund at home. So yeah, they've been doing really entertaining. They've been performing really in a really entertaining way. And I think that the Sporting Club de Portugal are one of those teams that, I don't know how long it's going to take until they get dismantled. But so far, so good. Enjoy the ride while it lasts. In the Champions League, they have scored 14 goals in a group with Borussia Dortmund, with Ajax. That's pretty impressive as well. And I think that this is the kind of team that should present a problem to pretty much anyone in the Champions League, but maybe not Manchester City, because Manchester City right now, they look so composed. Daniele broke down very well not only a few stats, but the way they are playing, and the fact that they have conceded 14 goals in the Champions League says a lot, even though maybe in the Champions League their numbers are not that impressive when it comes to goals conceded, because they have conceded a lot of goals in the Champions League, definitely in comparison to what they have conceded in the Premier League. And even they have less possession in the Champions League, 57% on an average. In the Premier League, they've got more. But yeah, you can put it down to the fact that they have played against PSG twice and then against RB Leipzig twice. And of course, your numbers are going to go down a little bit. This is absolutely logical. But when it comes to Sporting, this season they are 6 points away from Porto. In the weekend they couldn't beat them, even though they started winning 2-0. But then the game got complicated. Porto is a very astute team as well, and at the end Sporting just got a draw, and it was a very disappointing result for them, because Sporting wants to win back-to-back titles, and it looks like that it's going to be difficult with Porto being 6 points away from them. But Sporting is always competitive, or at least they have been competitive in the last 2 years. 3 clean sheets this year alone. I mean, in 2022, that's pretty good already. Let's see, when it comes to the team news, if Pedro Gonçalves could be there because he's an important player for them. But whoever fields, I think that he's going to do a good job. No wonder why Rubén Amorim, who was 4 years ago doing an internship under Jose Mourinho in the high-performance football coaching course, he's been called the new Mourinho. Maybe that is going too far, but he's one of those new Portuguese coaches that is proving that the Portuguese Academy of Coaches is one of the best in the world. For this game, I could go for the following, because I believe that Sporting Club de Portugal, they would be competitive against anybody else, but against Manchester City they will struggle. I think that the over 1.5 goals in the second half could be feasible, considering that once Manchester City opens the scoreline, maybe they want to score one more or two more. Sporting will go front as well, and that could happen. But in the same way that Daniele, I believe he said that he backs Manchester City to score in both halves, I'm going to go for something which is kind of similar or follows the same logic, which is the halftime, full-time market. And I'm going to back Manchester City to win the first half and to keep the win in the second half. That pays 191. And if you believe that Manchester City can extrapolate their level in the league, their defensive level, 14 goals conceded to the Champions League now, then believe in the win 2-0 for Manchester City. That pays 215. Only one thing, Walker is suspended for Manchester City. This is a little bit of a loss for them, because Walker doesn't overlap anymore the right winger who normally is Riyad Mahrez. So probably João Cancelo will have to play as a right back, in the right, obviously. And I really want to see how he does, because he extended his contract last week until 2027. And I think that he is the future right back of Manchester City as soon as Walker retires or gets older. So let's see how he plays over there.
Then much more open the next tie we have on Wednesday, Inter Milan Liverpool. This is a very good one, although of course Liverpool are favorites both for the tie to qualify for the quarterfinals and also to win in San Siro, 2.17. Dani, this tie is not getting at the right moment for Inter Milan after so many weeks on top of the table. They lose the leadership. They drew against Napoli after the defeat against Milan. Not only that, they are struggling to win in the last month. I remember playing bad also and winning in the last minute against Venezia. So not the best moment for Inter Milan. And on the other hand, Liverpool are arriving in form to this moment, even without Salah and Mane in the last weeks, because they were in the African Cup of Nations. They are at a great level. Do you also see Liverpool that favorite, or as an Interista you have hopes in your team?
Well, you always have hope your team is gonna do a great night, but Liverpool is European royalty. Yes, they are favorite. This is a team that is competing with Manchester City for the Premier League, that is doing so well, has done so well in the Champions League. Inter have had the backs to the wall in the last few days. It has been a tough period since the break, because they're tough fixtures. You know, all this 2022 has been difficult. They play Juventus, they play Atalanta, they play Lazio, they play Milan, they play Roma in the Cup, they play Napoli. You can't win them all. And yes, Inter and Napoli, they couldn't win it, but at least didn't lose. And, you know, after a very disappointing first half, they came out fighting the second half, and I think in the end was a fair draw. But yes, Inter physical condition, it's somehow concerning. I don't think in the last few games they had the same energy for the 90 minutes. Take the derby, for example. They were dominating against Milan. They could have scored 2 or 3 in the first half. Then they dropped down and they were cold by the reaction of Milan. Only 2 clean sheet kept for Inter in the last 8. This is not a great stats, especially if you're facing such a threat against Liverpool. They have conceded in 4 out of 5 home games in 2022. Look, Inter is playing better than last season, that's for sure. The brand of football is more entertaining, is more expansive, more players participate in the attack, and in fact, at this stage of the season, there are more goal scorers at Inter than they were under Antonio Conte. The issue is that I think these games like this, they are decided by individual moments. They are decided sometimes by your strikers, and some of the Inter strikers, I think they are misfiring. Dzeko is keeping a good goal tally, a goal every 3 games, I would say. Sanchez, it's in and out of the team and seems to produce more when he comes as a substitute. The real concern for me is Lautaro, who since he renewed his contract hasn't had a great spell. Well, he scored against the lower teams in Italy, but in the big moments, he seemed to go a little bit missing. But most importantly, Inter will be without the most important player in the midfield for this game, Barella. He's got suspension for 2 games for the red card he picked up stupidly at the Bernabeu. And he's the more dynamic, the more energetic, the guy that can press as well from the front. And not having him in these 2 games is a real concern. Also because I'm really doubtful about his replacement, Vidal, and his dynamism, or maybe his lack of dynamism, his lack of intensity. He could be in for a really tough night. Bastoni should be back, had a little injury, so he should be back. Is really important. But Inter goes back to the knockout stages since 10 years, since 2011. So it is an opportunity to cherish, to relinquish. But let's be clear: this is the toughest game the Inter has ever played in the last 2 years and a half. Not the most important one, because they were in the Europa League final against Sevilla, but this is the toughest opponent they had in the Champions League and obviously in the league in the last 2 years and a half. Let's see how they do. I could imagine an attacking game. I could imagine an open game. After all, Inter were the teams with most shots in the Champions League, 117, 6th for shot on target. Liverpool were first, so it's there or there about. Good odds for over 2.75 goals, 188. So that means if there are 3 goals, only 3 goals, you win half your stake.
And on the other hand, Alvaro, is a good moment for Liverpool this year, not like the last one. They don't have major injury concerns, and the second line are performing quite well as well.
They are performing quite well. I think that the signing of Luis Diaz has been a clever one too. They got a very complete squad, and I think that a couple of years ago maybe they had a short squad, and right now I look at Liverpool and their squad is phenomenal and abundant, and I would say that they've got 20 very capable players in there. Also Harvey Elliott is back, and hopefully he will make a little bit of a difference in the league for Liverpool, because he had a terrible ankle injury and he's back, fortunately. This game is going to show the real level of the Premier League and the Serie A, and let me explain you why. I mean, Liverpool has played in the Premier League 24 games and they've got 54 points. Inter Milan, they have played 24 games and they've got 54 points as well. So basically in Italy, with 54 points, you are 1 point away from the leader. In England, with 54 points, you are 9 points away from the leader. This is a little bit to understand what it is like to compete against Manchester City. I think that if Liverpool hadn't had such an opponent for Premier League history probably, they would have won more titles. And the fact that Liverpool comes second in this game and Inter comes second in this game, well, tells you that these teams, obviously, they have some other duties to do, like fighting for the league and all that. But in the case of Inter Milan, it's more likely that they win the league than in the case of Liverpool, because they are facing a super opponent in the Premier League. All that said, I think that Inter, Daniele explained it, they are not coming in their best moment of the season, but at the same time, I put it down to the fact that they have been playing against really tough opponents too. Yeah. And the absentee of Barella is key. But one of the things that will worry me about Inter is the fact that in the Champions League, in the high-profile games that they have played this season, they haven't been able to beat Real Madrid. And Liverpool is going to present a similar challenge, or even a tougher one in terms of level. When it comes to Liverpool, I think that after having gone through the African Cup of Nations period, which look like it will be damning for Liverpool because they will be losing track with Manchester City. Well, that hasn't happened really. Liverpool kept the level. The defense is working very well. I think that right now in the season there is a player, Diogo Jota, who has clearly shown that he is the number 3 option up front, because he's nailing it up front so well and scoring many goals. And the levels of defensive know-how and defensive capabilities of Liverpool have gone up again with Van Dijk and Matip playing. I think that last season Liverpool had many problems in the defensive departure, and that little by little multiplied across the pitch because Fabinho had to be deployed to the centre-back position because Liverpool didn't have any other good holding midfielder, and so on and so on and so on. So a problem that started in the centre-back, little by little, like a bad disease, spread around the pitch. But this time Liverpool is favourite for me. Liverpool has proven in the Champions League that number one, they qualified in the most difficult group with Porto, with Atletico, with Milan as well, and they did it very, 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 very easily. And in the Champions League lately, apart from a couple of blips, like for example against Atalanta last season, I would say, normally they have done well against Italian teams. So I'm going to back Liverpool to win 2.15. For me, good enough, that one. The Asian handicap -1 for Liverpool, 3.05. I really like that one. So very basically, I mean, the -1 Asian handicap. If they win by 1, you get a stake refund. But if they win by 2, you win.
I would just agree with Alvaro, Liverpool to take the lead as well. It's not maybe as good as the Alvaro odds said, but yeah, Liverpool to take the lead as they did against Milan in both ties, 175. Could be another one.
And also a very clear one, the last one, Salzburg, Bayern Munich. We have to be creative as well here, as in most of the games of Bayern Munich, to find good odds. If you remember well, Alvaro, they played in 2020. Bayern won 2-6. Not sure if you expect something similar, but Salzburg, they are new in this round in the Champions League, and Bayern Munich, they are also one of the favorites. So I guess we shouldn't doubt about the German team.
Look, I did like Bayern better in November and December. I remember that I was praising them a lot, but they have a problem with their squad right now. I mean, Bayern had a very short squad in comparison to the Premier League big teams, and they have suffered like really key injuries. Manuel Neuer, Alphonso Davies with a heart issue. Let's see how damaging this is for his career. Leon Goretzka, these are players that are going to be missing. And if Bayern plays fifth gear, their best 11, I have no doubt that they will be competitive in every possible scenario, and I will say that favorite in every possible scenario, apart maybe from the Etihad or Anfield. But this is not what's happening to Bayern right now. They've got a lot of wingers, yes, but then in the rest of the positions on the pitch, central striker, central midfield, the left back, they don't have so many players. And then, you know, the Joshua Kimmich thing with the vaccination thing, that was controversial, and I kept them out from a few games and all that. Well, all that hasn't helped, or even the fact that Süle is going to move to Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, he's going to play if he's ready, because Bayern needs all their soldiers in this type of knockout stages. But what I'm saying here is that maybe Bayern should reconsider this summer their transfer policy, and especially they should complete the squad a bit better, because otherwise, you know, a couple of injuries affect you a lot. When it comes to Salzburg, well, Bayern, by the way, lost in the weekend against Bochum, because this Bayern is far from perfect. I mean, they score a lot of goals, they go to win every single game, but Julian Nagelsmann knows that this Bayern cannot be below par so often, because that is when problems start, and that is when one day you look at yourself in the mirror and you are out of the Champions League in the last 16 or in the quarterfinals, and you wonder why. Well, this is because top teams, they should aspire to reach perfection in every single game, and this Bayern doesn't do that, and haven't been doing this for a while now. When it comes to Salzburg, well, Daniele will break down Salzburg very well, because I know that he has prepared this, but they've got the poorest passing accuracy and the poorest crossing accuracy in the Champions League. Well, if that manifests itself playing the ball from the back against Bayern, they are going to lose the game, because if they lose the ball in the key positions, well, Bayern is going to capitalize from that. And also, Salzburg has been very good at home in the Champions League this season. They got 9 points at home in the Champions League, but only 1 on the road. So if you want to put your money on the tire, already you should know that Salzburg historically in this Champions League, they have been really bad on the road. But talking about this game alone, I'm going to go for the following. In the same way that it was difficult to find good odds for a Sporting Manchester City, I find the same problem here. So I'm gonna go for the same odd that I picked for the Sporting Manchester City, which is the halftime full time. I'm going to back Bayern here. That pays 191, or something that is a little bit less generous but still good money, the over 1.5 goals in the second half, 163. I like that one because I know that Bayern normally in the second half they tend to score a lot of goals, as they did, for example, in Lisbon this season.
I think the Salzburg tactic might not be building for the back, but will be definitely pressing Bayern high. By the way, Salzburg were the third team for presses in the Champions League, the first for fouls committed. So he attack a lot, especially in attacking areas or defensive areas for the opposition. Fourth for ball recovered. So it is a team that plays on the front foot and try to recover the ball as high as possible. It is a team that I think will pose Bayern some issues. They were very poor against Bochum. Sule and Upamecano struggle, as Alvaro said. And the thing with Bayern, they already lost 4 games this season, but after each defeat, it came a long streak of wins. So I would expect Bayern to go on a run and win maybe 5 or 6 on the road. By the way, last year they played each other. Bayern won 6-2 in Salzburg, then they won 3-1 in Munich. Salzburg haven't got much pedigree. Well, actually, it's the first time they are in the Champions League knockout. They often been knocked out in the Europa League at the early stages as well. They are clear. They will win the Austrian League again. And they got goal scorers, of course. They got Adeyemi. They got Aronson, who's been scouted by Leeds. So, I think Bayern need to be careful. I think they're going to win this one. But for this one, I would go for an over 1.5 goals in the first half, which pays 215, or Bayern to score in both halves, as I said, for Man City, 183, but expect maybe Salzburg to nick one.
Well, Bayern are really favorites, of course, for this game. We can see in the odds, but as Dani mentioned, they already lost a few games this season. Alvaro, can we really trust them, even in these big events that usually Bayern Munich deliver?
I think that we can trust them, but we shouldn't forget that the number one Salzburg, they present like a proper threat, because up front they are very, very intense and they tend to score a lot of goals. And number two, because Bayern, they are playing pretty much without any holding midfielder, and this is something that may worry Nagelsmann looking ahead. The other day against Bochum, they played with a really physical team with Lucas Hernandez, Upamecano, Pavard, Gnabry, Sané, Coman, very fast players. No one in the world has a team with such athletes, but they only had one midfielder, and that was Joshua Kimmich. In this Bayern, if you don't have Goretzka, you have to make sure that you play somebody alongside Joshua Kimmich. And I think that this is key for Bayern. I don't know if Marcel Sabitzer is that man. I don't know if Tolisso can be that man. I believe so. But looking ahead or moving ahead in the Champions League, moving forward, if they don't put someone playing alongside Joshua Kimmich, this team is going to suffer, because there are some other teams like Manchester City, for example, that populate their midfield with many players, and then they will cause an imbalance to Bayern.
Then 4 very interesting games in the back of the Champions League this week, especially, of course, PSG, Real Madrid, and Inter Milan, Liverpool, Man City, and Bayern shouldn't have trouble. And apart from doing individual bets, I'm sure you both guys are experts in accumulators, so let's try yours for this Champions League. Dani, tell me your AK, please.
Okay, obviously for the 4 games, PSG, Real Madrid, both to score. Sporting Manchester City, over 2.5 goals. Inter, Liverpool, both to score in the second half. No. Bayern to win the first half in Austria. The odds not super high, but good enough. 641.
And
what
Alvaro, yours?
641, Dani.
641.
Stingy.
Well, it's only 4 games. It's only 4 games. I mean, it's just,
Okay. Mayaka. It doubles up Dani's, basically. An Asian handicap of plus 0.25 in the first half for Real Madrid. The decaf double chance. Sporting Manchester City, halftime, full-time, away and away. Same thing for Bayern against Salzburg. And Liverpool to win, 13.96.
Okay, what is best, to win an ACCA of 641 or to lose one of 13?
I think it's better to say that Real Madrid is going to score a penalty for 6. To be honest with you. But anyway, let our audience...
in Europe, we can have penalties. If it was in La Liga, that's harder.
That's guaranteed.
A bad idea to bet on. Okay. Then, guys, hopefully we see many goals. Usually, as last season, when they removed the goal away advantage, we had more goals actually in the first legs because people and teams tend to attack. So hopefully we enjoy a good week. Thank you, and see you next week, of course.
Okay, see you later. Enjoy.
I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I do. So please also comment with us. Tell me your tips and predictions for these 4 games. And don't forget to support us. Click on the like and subscribe to our channel. And also click on the bell to get notifications. Or if you prefer to listen to our videos, we also have a podcast for you. Thanks for watching. See you soon.